What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know, including a wrestler's shocking in-ring passing, Vince loves Goldberg and he doesn't care what the fans think, AJ Styles may be getting a new bodyguard, is the Fiend feuding with Retribution, Lana's big babyface turn, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now our first story is unfortunately a sad one, as it's been reported that a wrestler collapsed in the ring and passed away. 26-year-old luchador Príncipe Areo, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, aka Luis Angel Salazar, was wrestling for Mexa Wrestling at the Arena San Pantitlán in Mexico City when he collapsed in the ring after 2 chops to his chest. According to WrestleTalk's Liam Wynnard, he passed away by the time he was taken to an ambulance, and paramedics and medical staff could not revive him despite their best efforts. The Twitter account Lucha Blog provided an update on the cause of his passing, saying, Mass Lucha quotes the official medical report in saying Príncipe Areo passed away from a ruptured middle cerebral artery, not a heart attack. We'd like to send our heartfelt condolences to Mr. Salazar's friends, family, and fellow performers. Next up, Vince doesn't care about what fans think about Goldberg. Bill Goldberg is a polarizing figure in the WWE Universe, with some fans still embracing the man who played a key role in WCW during the Monday Night War, while others see him as a reminder of the WWE pushing older stars at the expense of contemporary ones. Nevertheless, Vince McMahon has a strong opinion about dollar bills' value to the WWE, and according to an exclusive report from Inside the Ropes, they mentioned, we're also told Vince McMahon couldn't care less what anyone thinks about him using Goldberg, and the head honcho still believes there is value in Goldberg's name in WWE. One might argue that lessens every time the 53-year-old performs, but McMahon appears locked in to use Goldberg for a few years yet. Anyone familiar with the WWE knows that Vince McMahon doesn't care what the fans think, so it's no surprise he's kept Big Bad Bill around. Inside the Ropes is also reporting that although Goldberg has fulfilled his contractual obligation of working 2 matches a year, if there was a Saudi Arabia show next month, WWE would have almost certainly used the 4-time world champion for the 3rd time this year, we're told. Goldberg was last seen as a virtual fan at the SmackDown season premiere, just one of many famous faces the WWE brought in from the wrestling world at the request of Fox executives. Next up, Lana's babyface turn. The WWE's ravishing Russian has had a tough go of things, finding herself repeatedly put through tables, then abandoned by her long tag team partner Natalya. However, things may be turning around as Lana lucked her way into winning the Battle Royal held on the 12th October Raw to determine an opponent for Raw Women's Champion Asuka, and now Dave Meltzer is reporting that Lana may be in for a huge push as a babyface. According to a report in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, the company belief is that this show turned Lana babyface because she was put through a table 4 times and came back to win the Battle Royal. The term massive babyface was even used. We shall see. Lana's many beatings in and out of the ring has some fans thinking she was being punished after her real-life husband Miro, aka Rusev, signed with AEW. And this is a situation that will have to play out before fans can tell whether Lana is being pushed or merely being set up for further failure by the WWE. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Natalya says Tyson Kidd's neck is in good shape. Former WWE superstar Tyson Kidd is a very fortunate man. Not only is he married to Natalya, but he seems to have made a remarkable recovery from his 2015 career-ending injury that nearly ended his life. Kidd's wife Natalya recently spoke with Devon Dudley on his podcast Table Talk, updating everyone on Kidd's physical condition. Good, it's really good. I probably worry about TJ's neck more than he does, just because I'm very protective of him, and TJ is good. I mean, he's in a really good place. He absolutely loves being a producer in WWE. He's good, he's doing great, he's healthy. A recent video of Kidd training in the ring sparked rumors that the former member of the Hart Dynasty might be contemplating a return to the ring. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen, but it's great to hear that he's doing so much better. Next up, why Seth Rollins moved to SmackDown. More news on why Seth Rollins moved from his longtime home on Raw to SmackDown following this year's draft. According to this week's Observer, the WWE felt it had a gap to fill on the blue brand following AJ Styles' departure from SmackDown. They mentioned Styles in particular was expected since he publicly complained about missing his son's high school football games on Friday nights, just months after complaining about wanting to get off Raw because he blamed Heyman, who who was in charge at the time for Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows being fired. Rollins was his replacement, and to keep his angle going, that meant Mysterio family and Murphy had to go to SmackDown with him. Now you may recall that the WWE is working hard to keep Fox happy about SmackDown, which is why the Rollins feud was brought there, Roman Reigns was kept on the blue brand, and Sasha Banks and Bayley are remaining as well. Whether this pays off in the ratings should prove interesting, as the WWE is said to care much more about how SmackDown performs than Raw due to the feeling that USA Network has to keep the WWE in order to maintain its ratings. Next up, are we getting a Fiend versus Retribution feud? Our fans and wrestling pundits alike are speculating on this after a series of exchanges on Twitter. Things started when Retribution's T-Bar tweeted, "No WWE superstar is safe. You're all dead." Bray Wyatt then replied, "I'm already dead." Wyatt's response led to a thinly veiled threat towards the Fiend's new partner in crime, Alexa Bliss, as T-Bar posted a picture of Bliss with the cryptic message, "Is she?" A factor in Retribution leader Mustafa Ali's recent tweet, "It's your turn to bleed," and it looks like Retribution may strike. However, who will be Retribution's target? The Fiend or the Hurt Business? The Hurt Business have been battling Retribution, and rumor has it that the two factions will wage war at this year's Survivor Series. If so, the last thing Retribution needs is a war with Bray Wyatt. Next up is AJ Styles getting a bodyguard. AJ Styles is back on Raw thanks to the 2020 draft, and it looks like he might not only get a bodyguard, but it will be a familiar face. Fightful Select is reporting that there's been a big pitch for Jordan Amabeon to be the bodyguard or enforcer for AJ Styles on Monday Night Raw. Jordan was part of the same recruit class as Damian Priest, Matt Riddle, and Mia Yim 2 years ago. He served as one of Akira Tozawa's ninja and the bouncer for Raw Underground. Styles' last run on Raw featured him using Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows as his henchmen, so a bodyguard could be a good way to put added heat on Styles. Next up, some Ronda Rousey rumors. Rumors continue to fly that Ronda Rousey will face Becky Lynch at WrestleMania 37, and while there's been talk of Rousey's WWE contract expiring after the 2021 Showcase of the Immortals, Dave Meltzer thinks that might not be the case. Everyone presumes that Ronda Rousey's contract expires at a certain time. I don't understand why people don't realize that perhaps, just perhaps, Ronda Rousey's contract has been extended or she's working out a new deal, and it would not benefit either WWE or Ronda Rousey to go public with that information. But why wouldn't people understand that it would be kept a secret? Now, there's no doubt that the WWE would like to get a Becky vs Ronda match for WrestleMania, however it's questionable whether Vince would want to use such a big match if fans were not present. And finally, Mick Foley donates memorabilia for a fan's burial. Last but not least, Mick Foley is a WWE superstar who has used his stardom to help others, whether it's lending his name to charitable causes or helping others from behind the scenes. Recently, it was revealed that Foley donated several pieces of wrestling history to fans. He recently tweeted at Mrs. Foley's baby boy asking whatever happened to Mr. Rocco, the sock puppet Foley introduced as the companion to his own sock puppet, Mr. Socko. Foley replied, "The one and only Mr. Rocco was buried with a young man in Staten Island who died of muscular dystrophy. The jacket I am wearing in this photo was buried with a young man in West Virginia who died of cancer. I'm forever grateful that these gifts were a small source of comfort." Based on this and other stories, it's likely there are many other random acts of kindness by Mick that few people are aware of. But there you have it, guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.